Hello, my name is Haley Carlson, and this is my introductory video for EDL 854 Building Finance. Like I said, my name's Haley. I was born and raised in Manhattan, Kansas. I've been here my whole life and continue to live here. I got married about a week and a half ago on May 23rd. My husband's name is Ben. I attached a little picture down there from our wedding day. It was really small. We social distanced as best that we could. So we had a really small wedding, but hopefully next May we'll get to have our big one to celebrate this last one. I graduated from Kansas State University with my bachelor's in secondary education in 2016 with my emphasis in English language arts. So I am an English teacher at the high school level. I have been a Special Olympics coach for 5 or 6 years. I've kind of lost track, but I have coached basketball, track, cheerleading, volleyball, softball too. I love to read. I love being outside. I love summertime. So right now, starting up, this is like my favorite time of year. A little bit more about me. So I just completed my 4th year teaching at Manhattan High School in Manhattan, Kansas. It was the school that I graduated high school from, so that was fun to get to return back in a different role. I've taught 9th grade for 3 years, and then I moved up last year and I taught 11th grade and creative writing. So that is what I will continue to teach next year. I am on the advisory committee team. I'm the leader for the 11th grade team, so I kind of plan all of the 11th grade activities when it comes to advisory. But I have followed the same group of kids, so I've gotten to plan 9, 10, 11, and then I guess not this coming year, but the next one I'll do 12. And then I'm also the Tribe Spirit Club lead sponsor, so I'm in charge of planning homecoming and pep rallies and fundraisers and community service, school service events, things like that. I included a picture on here that I just thought is it's funny, but it's very cool. So this was from our wedding day, and the man in the middle is the man who married us, but he is also the high school principal that graduated my husband and I, and then currently he is one of my bosses at the school. So it was really cool that kind of the person that inspired me to become a school administrator was the one that got to marry us. So kind of neat. Starting off with the 10 things about building finance that I learned from those articles. So number 1, budgeting is a constant process. You're always returning to it. So this is significant because you want to adjust and make sure that everything within your budget stays on track. So returning to that as frequently as you need to. Number 2, the superintendent and central offices make most decisions in a lot of districts. This is significant because oftentimes more financially literate people would be dealing with the budget, but this also potentially disconnects from direct student needs. Number 3, making use of accounting software can be useful in managing budget needs. The use of a software can help with time management because budgeting can be very time consuming, especially when you're doing it for a district when there are lots of different players at hand. Number 4, site or school-based management, SBM, is a growing trend within school districts and states. This focus on individual school needs, and it can be more beneficial or individualized to help that school really get what it needs. So the articles didn't make it seem like a lot of schools do this, but kind of what people are moving to in certain places. Number 5, school principals are treated as middle managers, and they don't have a large say in the school budget. So this is really how it works within my district, or what I have seen, just because our district is so big. Without communication, people removed from schools and classrooms make the decisions that could negatively impact schools and classrooms. Number 6, many districts are reluctant to give up budgeting power to principals. This one I can understand. Change is hard, but also it limits what can be done to directly benefit schools if they do not give up those powers that they have traditionally had. Number 7, most principals don't feel that they have the financial literacy to make decisions. Leaving the decisions with central offices keeps some principals comfortable. I think this is kind of where I fall, just because I don't have any experience with large school budgets, and the thought of it is very worrisome to me. So I definitely tend to fall in wanting to stay in my comfort zone, but I definitely understand the need for principals being involved in that process. Number 8, if a central office gives up control, they need to invest in more training for principals to manage money. This is an added expense. It can also be time-consuming and overwhelming, which might be why they don't do it. Number 9, most centrally managed districts do it to maintain equity. So if you are giving up to individual schools, there's a concern that not all schools will get their needs met, but at the same time, on the other side of that, if it is the central office controlling it, schools are not one size fits all, and so the central office controlling it really makes it feel like that. And lastly, district finance and budgeting will be shown through the mission or philosophy of that district. So does that philosophy match the equity in schools? Is it a beneficial policy to have? Does the financial actions of the district match what they're putting out there as their mission? So some things that our principal does or does not do. So we have a head principal, and then we have 4 assistant principals at our high school. So the assistant principals are in charge of each one has each grade level, and then the one is kind of in charge overall. So the head principal shares budgeting needs and concerns with the central office. When you ask for something or if you bring a concern to him, often the answer that you get is, we'll have to check the budget before answering any questions on needs. So he always addresses the concerns within the school with the people at central office. I have never seen him in direct contact with the budget other than requesting or applying for needs. So I know that we talked about, like in our school, we needed an additional FACS teacher. We needed to go from 3 to 4, and he had to kind of make a case for it and present that that was something that the school desperately needed. So he could give his input, but not necessarily make the decision. Assistant principals have no contact with the budget from what I have seen, except for expenses that help at-risk students. So the principal that I worked under at the 9th grade, he would really use those at-risk funds, and he had full control over what could happen with those. So those were what was utilized. That was what he had control over, were those at-risk funds. And then there's really no obvious online budgeting or accounting system that's available to teachers or administrators. I have an account from being the Tribe Spirit Club sponsor, and I don't even really get control over that. If I make the money, I have to submit it. We don't have, I don't even have a credit card, anything like that. So it's still very old school, I guess, in how they manage some different things within our district. So I'm really interested to see what this class will kind of end up being. But with some concerns with budgeting and responsibility, I have a lot of fears surrounding, I guess, the budget and what that means for me as a school leader. So this class is going to be one that I feel I will learn a lot in. But not having enough funds to support students and staff, the lack of financial literacy or budgeting experience for a large-scale school or district. I don't have any of that. The lack of freedom to spend money on what the school and students need, monitoring others who are in charge of the money. I have a fear of having a money scandal from staff or colleagues working in the school, which has happened more than once. I believe in the time that I've even worked at our high school, in the 4 years that I have been there, it seems like that comes up fairly frequently, I guess. And then navigating what is necessary in the budget and what is not, and how to make those decisions and make those calls. So like I said, I'm very interested in this class. I'm hoping to learn a lot. I already learned a lot from these 3 articles, and I look forward to learning more. So thank you for watching.